My new book, Baton Rouge to Baghdad and Back, is available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, and many other places online. I had the opportunity to write about the 4 combat tours that I experienced in the United States Army, the horrors of war, like so many veterans before me have done, or I chose to write about the humorous side of military service, the funny things that I lived through in combat as well as in peacetime. The book should make you laugh. If it doesn't make you laugh, well, maybe you should check your pulse. If you have a family member that happens to be a veteran, trust me, they can relate to this book. It is about the funny things that we experience, the things that we go through in the military. Sometimes a sick sense of humor that helps us get by. So if you're in for a good laugh, a funny read, please check it out. It's available now, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Walmart, and many other places online. Baton Rouge to Baghdad and Back, the humorous side of military service that I lived through. I hope you enjoy it. Good evening, Patriots, and welcome to another edition of the Douglas Ducote Show. You had many places you could be tonight. You chose to be here with me, and for that, I am forever grateful. Thank you very, very much. Whether you're watching us tonight on our YouTube channel, our Rumble channel, over at X, at Facebook, please like, subscribe, share it with your family and friends. Also, don't forget to check out DouglasDucote.com, our website. You can see lots of videos that you can't see anywhere else because social media likes to ban me. Matter of fact, just last week, they took one of our live podcasts down for violating their community guidelines, which was exposing radical Islam. First, they were going after us for telling the truth about COVID and the vaccine and removing our videos and putting us in timeout, slapping our peepees, and now it's radical Islam. We were correct about COVID and the vaccine, and now they got egg on their face, like many, many people across this nation and the world for that matter. And yet here we are now with this problem with radical Islam coming into our country. And now they're going to censor us for exposing that truth. How pathetic is that? Un-American. You want to talk about Nazism, fascism. That's it right there in a nutshell. Anyhow, we have a lot of stuff to cover tonight, and I want to start off talking about something that doesn't get quite the attention that it should. Serial killers, mass murderers. Throughout history, we have seen some very horrible humans. And they've done some very, very bad things. I would like to focus on those mass murderers, those serial killers in tonight's opening part of the show. Number one was Samuel Little. You might remember him. He killed 60 people. Although he confessed to killing 93, they just couldn't find the other bodies. Gary Ringway, the Green River Killer. There's a documentary about that person on Amazon. He's got convicted of killing 49 people, although he claimed he killed 71. Donald Harvey, known as the Angel of Death, convicted of killing 37, although he claimed he killed 87. There was John Wayne Gacy. Remember him? Killed 33 people. Ted Bundy killed 30, although he said he killed 35. Dean Carroll, the Houston mass murderer, killed 28. Juan Corona killed 25. Ronald Dominique killed 23 people. Larry Elder killed 21. Patrick Harney, convicted of killing 21. William Bond, the freeway killer, remember him? Killed 21. Randy Stephen Kraft, convicted of killing 16 people. Jeffrey Dahmer, remember him? He not only killed them, but he ate them. 17 people. Robert Hansen killed 17 people. Earl Nelson killed 15 people. Richard Ramirez, he was the Night Stalker. He killed 13 people. David Rockowitz, who was the son of Sam, you may have seen that documentary, he killed 6 people. Edmund Kemper killed 10 people. Dennis Rader, the BTK killer, documentary on Amazon about him, he killed 10. Joseph James DeLangelo, the Golden State Killer, he murdered 13 people and also dozens of rapes of women and burglaries. So those are just 20 of the top mass murderers and serial killers of just right here in America. There's way many, many more than that, especially across the globe. But I believe firmly in my heart and soul that history will prove that the biggest mass murderer, the biggest serial killer that not only America, but the world has ever seen is Dr. Anthony Fauci, who killed over 1.2 million Americans with his gain of function crap he was doing in China, the coronavirus. 8.2 million people worldwide, and killed another 30,000 plus that we know of with the vaccine, and injured for life over 1 million people. That right there, my friends, I believe is going to go down in history as the biggest mass murder, the biggest serial killer ever on planet Earth, Dr. Anthony Fauci. More and more things are coming out about him. And now we know, without a doubt, why Joe Biden gave him a preemptive pardon for any crimes he may have committed going back to 2014. Now we know why he pleaded the Fifth in front of Congress. Because he's a mass murderer. We have his diary that was released, and Congress has exposed that with the things that he wrote about. And we're just getting started. A Senate Republican leading the charge on investigating Dr. Anthony Fauci's old government phone is now available. And the revelations of the former COVID czar was concerned. We see it in text messages. The vaccines could cause miscarriages in women. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Senator Ron Johnson was interviewed on Fox and ABC and CBS. Said that the first cache of texts from Dr. Fauci's old government iPhone was a clear sign that the man who became the face of the nation's COVID-19 response said one thing privately while talking a different message to the public. How do these people in government not understand that one day when they're no longer in office, the next party in or the next group in is going to find their shit? Because if you work in the government, you can't, well, unless you're Hillary Clinton, and then you can get away with it, but you're not allowed to delete your emails on government platforms or your text messages or your cell phone messages. That's all government property. How did Anthony Fauci not know, or did he just not care? Because, oh, he's getting the pardon. Or maybe that's why he asked for the pardon, because he knew one day they're going to find all this shit and he would be exposed for the murderer that he is. We tell pregnant women, don't even have a glass of wine, and yet we coerce them, convince them, sometimes mandate them to get an experimental gene therapy as early as the first trimester, Johnson said. This is truly sick. And the way this has been, I've known about this for years, he continued, but finally, because we have text associated with Saint Fauci, it's finally getting the play in the media that it's been deserving for years. Johnson and Senator Rand Paul obtained Fauci's phone from his time as head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease from the Department of Health and Human Services as part of their broader dive into the former chief medical advisor to President Trump and President Biden. It came as Paul was readying to hold Fauci in contempt of Congress for repeatedly invoking the Fifth, a gambit to successfully pull off and has since handed off to the Department of Justice. And whether or not they're going to charge him, my guess is they're not, because they don't have any fucking backbone or spine. Johnson, who chairs the Senate Homeland Security Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations, released the first trove of private messages that were found on the device yesterday. One of the conversations from January 21 was between Dr. Fauci and the Center for Disease Control Director, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, and Dr. Venki Murthy, who would become Surgeon General during the Biden administration. During the back and forth, Fauci admitted that he had concerns about the impact of mRNA vaccines on pregnant women. I asked around a bit more, and another issue came up that you need to be aware of, Fauci wrote. Since many people have significant cytokine storms and fever after the second dose of the shot, this theoretically could be associated with miscarriage in the first trimester. Dr. Anthony Fauci. Johnson charged that I've never heard a federal health official admit that about the injections, and noted that cytotoxic storms are linked with adverse effects to the lungs from vaccination. What you have to connect this to is what we've been saying publicly. That was contrary to that, but also what they're publishing, Johnson said. He recalled the study published in the New England Journal of Medicine back in 2021 from Dr. Tom Shamashkortz in June of 2021 after Fauci's initial concern that found that 827 pregnancies that were exposed to mRNA vaccines, 104 had spontaneous abortions. We would call it a miscarriage. Johnson argued, however, that the numbers were skewed. Of the 827 women, 700 got their vaccinations or the injection in the third trimester. 127 of them got in the trimester 1 and 2, which is where 104 miscarriages occurred. So the proper percentage is 104 divided by 127, an 82% miscarriage rate with women who were injected with the COVID vaccine in the first trimester. He said, I mean, that is shocking. And they knew it. They knew it. They're not stupid. They're just that devious to play with the statistics and to misinform and to lie to the American people. On one hand, are telling everybody, women, children, the elderly, babies, it didn't matter, pregnant or not, you must get this vaccine. People would lose their jobs if they didn't get the vaccine. Government employees were fired if you didn't get the vaccine. Nurses and doctors fired if you didn't get the vaccine. Police officers, first responders, firefighters losing their jobs, all being pushed by Dr. Anthony Fauci. It was all a lie. It was killing people, injuring people, maiming people for life. We know this. It's now factual news. Although the left and the liberal media is still trying to cover it up, still doting over that piece of garbage. Now we've seen his diaries, and now the text messages are coming out. That man is an evil son of a bitch, a mass murderer, the most prolific serial killer ever on the face of earth. He makes Satan look like a fucking Boy Scout. Combing through 21 peer-reviewed studies spanning 5 random trials and 16 observational studies that covered 149,685 women. That report, which compared miscarriages following COVID-19 vaccinations with outcomes among women that were either receiving a vaccine or placebo, found that the miscarriage rate was roughly 9% and argued that the vaccine against the virus was not tied to a statistically significant increase in miscarriage risk, which was a fucking lie. And then when people tried to come out, other doctors, other scientists, other people that had way more intelligence than we do, or Dr. fucking Fauci had, and tried to say, don't do this. It takes years of studies to make sure vaccines are safe to be used on human bodies. Years of studies. And before they ever inject it into humans, they inject it into guinea pigs, into monkeys, into animals. But we, not me, not some of you, but the sheep on planet Earth followed the advice of that mass murderer and got not one. Some of them got 2, 3, 4, 5. Some of them are still getting the vaccine as I speak. You can get it at Walmart. You can get it at CVS. You can get it at Walgreens, any drugstore. In the middle of all this mess, some of the vaccines our own government pulled from the market because they knew it was killing people. And the news media covered it up. And if you tried to speak out against it, if you were a doctor, if you were a scientist, if you were studying this and you tried to speak out against it, the Biden administration put together a task force that went after individual people that were telling the truth and censoring you all over social media. I was sharing information that I was getting directly from family members and personal friends and personal physicians about the vaccine and about COVID. And YouTube restricted me and took me down. So did Facebook. And it happened to hundreds of thousands of people that were trying to tell the truth. This is not okay. You can't take a vaccine that you made up in 60 days and throw it out there and inoculate the world when it takes years to determine if it's safe. And the man behind it all is that mass fucking murderer. And if the Republicans and our Congress and our Department of Justice and our FBI and our President of the United States don't do everything in their power to overturn the pardon that motherfucker got, then those motherfuckers are guilty of the murders as well. That piece of shit needs to go to fucking prison. He is a mass murderer. And it's now been exposed to the entire world. And the likes of CNN and MSNBC and all these liberal news media pundits are still covering for that piece of garbage, even with the facts being presented and coming out of his text messages, his phone messages, his own personal diary, admitting this shit. That is a problem. And sadly, I don't expect the GOP, the Republicans, to do a fucking thing about it other than bitch and moan and complain like I'm doing right now. Why? Because they don't have any goddamn spine. They don't have a fucking backbone. They're useless as shit, just like the fucking Democrats are. They don't give a fuck about me and you. Hell no, they don't. That's why I left both parties and became an independent. I will never, ever, ever in my life give either one of those parties a fucking dime of mine because they're evil bastards. Not every one of them. There are a handful. I count on both hands of Democrat members of Congress and Republican members of Congress that actually give a shit. The rest of them, fuck no. And those motherfuckers that Trump has in charge of the Department of Justice and the FBI, have you seen anyone that's responsible for the incitement of violence across this country against Republicans and conservative and MAGA and Trump, the assassination attempts, or this bullshit with Dr. Anthony Fauci, the mass murderer of the world, being charged? No. Because they're spineless. Spineless. Watch what happens if the Democrats do take over at midterms. They've already said what they're going to do, the same thing they did the last time Trump was the president when they took over. Impeachment, trials, convictions, going after every Republican they can, their Department of Justice, their FBI, making up shit, the whole Russia collusion shit, everything they did. Lying. We all know this now. It's all factual. They don't care. They have no morals. The Democrat Party leadership in this country has no morals whatsoever. And they're already on record saying, Cory Booker said it, Hakeem Jeffries has said it, AOC has said it, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib has said it. Wait till we take back. We're going to prosecute every one of you people. For what? For what? More lies you want to make up? I'm a lion? Do you not see this? Do you not see what these two parties have done to us, we the people? It's pretty messed up. And in social media, What a job they've done. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, many others allowed the Biden Department of Justice and the Biden FBI to censor the American people and take away the freedom of speech given to us in the Constitution for speaking out against their theory on COVID and the vaccines. You want to talk about fascism? You want to talk about wannabe dictators? You want to talk about fucking Hitler type shit? That was the Biden administration on steroids, or as I like to say, Hunter Biden crack. Moving on. Conservatives piled on former Vice President Kamala Harris after she warned Americans would have to prove who you are under the Save America Act. And the Democrats don't want the Save America Act because you would have to prove who you were to vote. Arguing her criticism inadvertently turned into a sales pitch for the Republican-backed bill. And that's exactly what it did. Incredibly, Save America Act saleswoman wrote conservative commentator Eric Daltrey on X. Harris posted a video on her X account last Friday discussing midterm elections while highlighting the SAVE Act, including laminating to voters that you're going to have to prove who you are. Do you have to prove who you are to board a fucking airplane? She had the bill require a passport, which a lot of Americans don't have, or a birth certificate. Same point, obstacles to make it difficult for you to register to vote. Trump has made passage of the SAFE Act a top priority for his administration, pushing the stalled election legislation through a series of pressure tactics, including tying it to defense spending and threatening House legislation. The clip went viral among conservatives, with Trump even pinning the video to the top of his profile on Truth Social. The Jim Crow comparisons are tired. The poll tax is gone. Jim Crow is gone. Proving you're an American citizen before voting in an American election is not oppression, it's common fucking sense. Listen to this batshit crazy laughing hyena spew her lies.
So they're trying to mess with your ability to vote, just to break it all down. You've got the Supreme Court. They just sealed the deal with this case that just came up recently, the Calais decision, which basically took the power out of the Voting Rights Act, which was designed to protect your right to vote. So you got the Supreme Court doing its thing. Then this president is trying to push this SAVE Act, which basically would require that for people to register to vote, you're going to have proof of who you are through a passport, which a lot of Americans don't have, or a birth certificate. Same point, obstacles to make it difficult for you to register to vote.
Wrong. You're a fucking liar. You are a pathetic liar like your colleagues up in Washington, D.C. Let's talk about the facts of the SAVE Act. Not what the liberal left is spewing, not what CNN or MSNBC is spewing, not what the Democrats up in Washington, D.C. are spewing. Let's talk about the hardcore facts. You do not have to have a passport or a birth certificate to vote. She is a lying sack of shit. All you need, a driver's license will allow you to vote. The new Real ID that Congress passed, that if you don't have it, you can't buy an airline ticket and fly. If you don't have it, and you're even a family member of a military person or a spouse, you can't get on a military installation. A military ID or a veteran ID. Any government issued ID or state issued ID or county issued ID. Or, drum roll please, a passport or a birth certificate. Do you know anyone that's breathing air like I am that can't prove who they are? Unless they have dementia, Alzheimer's, they're in a vegetable state. Other than that, do you know anyone? What she's trying to prove, and the Democrats up in Washington, D.C., is that it will be a burden on brown and black people. That's an insult to African Americans, saying that they're too fucking stupid or dumb to be able to have a fucking ID. That's what the Democrat leadership's trying to tell you. The whole purpose of this is to stop the illegal aliens from fucking voting. That now we find out there have been thousands of them. We even have Democrat governors have come out and gave press conferences that I've shared right here on this show, talking about all the people they're finding on their voter rolls that were illegal aliens that shouldn't have been on there to start with, that have been voting in our elections. That's what this is about. That's what the SAVE Act is about. Only American citizens should be voting in American elections, and the Democrat Party in Washington, D.C. doesn't want you to have to prove that you're an American citizen. You could not make this shit up if you tried. This is batshit crazy. And they just keep doubling down on it. The party that I used to be a proud member of, the Democrat Party, is fucking gone. Stick a fork in it. It's over with. Lies after lies after lies. Whether it's about J6, whether it's about COVID, or whether it's about the vaccine, whether it's about our law enforcement, just pick a subject. They can't tell the truth. If you were fucking throat punching them every time they lied, they would still continue to lie about it. And the Republican Party doesn't have a spine or a backbone to do anything against the people that are doing the bad shit. So let's talk about an election integrity. Well, his midterms are coming up. It's a major deal. President Trump has long argued that who counts the votes can matter nearly as much as who appears on the ballot, as we've watched happen back in 2020. That view has helped make election administration itself a major political battleground, and both Republicans and Democrats are dramatically expanding their operations ahead of the 2026 midterm elections that are right around the corner. National poll worker Recruitment Day, established by the U.S. Election Assistance Commission in 2020, has become an important organizing point for both parties. Republicans and Democrats are recruiting thousands of poll workers, observers, attorneys, and voter protection personnel to work throughout the election process. Republican National Committee Chairman Joe Gerters said the GOP is already significantly ahead of where it stood during the 2024 election cycle. We have more poll workers in the 2026 cycle than we did in 2024. Thank God. We're better prepared. We have staffers in 25 states. We're on the ground, ready to battle. According to the RNC data, Republican recruitment is running approximately 42% ahead of its 2024 pace, with 16,971 volunteer signups nationwide compared to 11,917 at the same point of the previous cycle. Gutierrez said the RNC has built what he described as the largest election integrity operation in the Republican Party's history. It's about time the RNC pulled their head out of their ass. With less than 90 days until midterms, we're seeing record-breaking grassroots engagement, expanding our operation into new states and building the infrastructure needed to defy history in 2026, he said. Much of the Republican effort grew out of Trump's concern following the 2020 presidential election. We're going to have to be a lot sharper the next time when it comes to counting votes, Trump told Pennsylvania Republicans back in 2022. Sometimes the vote count is more important than the candidate. Since then, the RNC has invested millions of dollars into election integrity programs, attorneys, staff, and volunteers. And you want to know something else that the GOP has going for it right now that the Democrats, the DNC, doesn't? As I speak, the RNC or the GOP has put millions of dollars in donations and donors above and beyond what we did the last cycle. And the Democrats are in the negative. They're in the red. Because all their big donors left during the last cycle. When they watched the Democrats try and first run a guy that was obvious to the American people had dementia, and then the laughing hyena. And they said, never again. So all those big donors, all that money that the DNC has counted on for all these years is dried up. Now they have to count on lying members of Congress, people like Kamala Harris, lying and fear-mongering and making shit up about Republicans and conservatives and Trump to try and get voters to donate. The average person out there, the average mom and pop, and it's not working. Midterms is in November, and the DNC is in the negative. They're in the red. Nobody's donating to it. Okay. The next piece of news is both funny, sad, and pathetic. Taxpayer-funded transsexual dolls with removable genitalia is scheduled to hit the classrooms this fall for kids as young as 4 to learn about different options. I'll repeat that. Taxpayer-funded trans dolls with removable penises, vaginas, and breasts are going to be hitting the classrooms this fall for kids as young as 4 to learn about different options. No, this isn't a Saturday Night Live skit. Nope, not at all.
Dolls with removable genitalia are going into Minnesota schools this fall. 4-year-olds will be taught that they can pop a ding-dong on or off like Mr. Potato Head's hat. These two are the co-founders of My Gender Dolls, Diane Bird and Nick Ryder. They get off on convincing children to sterilize and mutilate themselves. For 6 years, this taxpayer-funded research experimented on kids' heads with these little gender dolls. Kids got paid $20 a piece. These parents should be in Supermax for this kind of psychological abuse. Here's $20. Let me go mess with your kid's head for a few hours. Tim Walz is at the helm of this insanity. I still can't fathom that he was this close to the White House. Are you guys ready to start listening to the homeschoolers yet?
I don't care if you decide you want to remove your penis if you're a male, or if you're a woman and you decide you want to remove your breast and identify as a man. But I do care when you involve children, underage children, not adults, with your sick, twisted, far left propaganda bullshit that goes against everything known to mankind in biology, with your woke crap pushing it on our children. You sick and twisted bastards. And it's not just happening in Minnesota, California, Washington State, Oregon, New York, and our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., just to name a few, that are playing around with this fucking science experiment of teaching little kids that it's okay when you go to potty if you look down and you're a boy and you don't like that little thing sticking out there, and you'd rather have a vagina. You can look it up tonight. Go to Amazon, go to eBay, and you can buy one yourself for your little Johnny or your little Debbie, your trans doll with the removable parts, the same one they're going to be putting out in schools. It's available right now on the internet. Those are some sick motherfuckers that need to be locked the hell away and kept way the hell away from schools and children. give you a quick update on this debacle happening in the Middle East. The war that I supported, the war to end all wars, I came out and told you many, many times for years, the only way for peace in the Middle East is cut the head off the snake. Head of the snake is Iran. When you annihilate those motherfuckers, you will have peace in the Middle East. You will not have these Islamic crazy fuckers trying to kill all Western civilization. So I supported what Trump did. And I also know, from having served in the military, that we have the capability within 30 days or less to have ended it all, done away with those motherfuckers. Be done away with it before ever having an issue with the Straits. But instead, here we are, 7 months later, with this shit still going on. Why? Because of the military-industrial complex that members of Congress of both parties are highly invested in and are making billions of dollars off of. The longer this war goes on, the more money they make. And we suffer the consequences. Because every time Iran starts to shut the Straits down, we're connected to the global oil market. So therefore, those prices go up, our prices go up. When that happens, it affects everything, not just what you're pumping in your car or your truck at the gas station, but everything else that has to be delivered via truck or ship or plane to get to your grocery store or Walmart or the restaurant for you to eat. It's all affected due to the price of transportation because of the global market of oil. The latest, Iran demanded reparations from the U.S. to compensate for damages they've sustained during this conflict before they will agree to stop attacking ships in the Straits. President Donald Trump rejected Iran's request on social media, issuing his own demands that Iran compensate the world and the region for its funding of terrorism. The Pentagon is racing to purchase more missiles after the war with Iran and other conflicts have significantly depleted stockpiles. Iran cemented its leadership with the appointment of 6 fresh generals. As Iran signaled, it is ready for prolonged confrontation with the U.S. Reports of fresh attacks on shipping in the Red Sea, with Yemen's transport ministry saying that 4 people were killed in a suspected strike by Yemen's Iran-backed Houthis. A U.S. Navy helicopter was fired on. A U.S. Navy helicopter fired on a Panamanian flag vessel after it attempted to bypass the U.S. blockade on Iranian ports. One of Iran's supreme leaders, Majabi Kamalides, advertisers declared that the Straits of Hormuz will remain closed until Iran's demands are met. Iranian military spokesperson claimed that Iran has fully restored its missile stockpiles, depleted during the war, while boasting its forces are now more powerful. Every week since we started launching these attacks, Donald J. Trump and this administration has stepped in front of the camera and told us that through the negotiations We're hours, if not days, from a lasting peace deal signed, sealed, and delivered. And the straits will be open and the prices will come down. Every week for 7 fucking months. And Iran still has the capability to control a section of water that is international waterways and jack up the prices of global oil market. We were told that we annihilated their entire nuclear capability. And now we're told we didn't get their uranium. We're told we destroyed their entire naval forces and sent it to the bottom of the fucking sea. And they're out there with fucking naval speedboats, ramming and attacking shit all the time. We're told we depleted their entire military. Now, for a fact, their Air Force is gone. They ain't been able to launch a single aircraft. They're all been blown up. But drones? Guess we didn't see that coming. We've known they've had drones for fucking years. Hell, they've even got some of ours they shot down. And every day they're still launching them. We have the strongest military on planet Earth, capable of annihilating those sand bastards, those sand fleas, that fucking shithole in a matter of 30 days or less. And we're not doing it. We just keep dragging this shit out. I'm sorry. Yes, I still support Trump. Yes, I still support the administration. But fucking stop lying to us. Stop telling us every week that we're just hours away from a peace deal. There's no peace deal with these motherfuckers. There's none. You can't make peace with radical Islam. It doesn't exist. They don't want peace. They want us dead. That's all they want. And then people like me were lied to and told that if we go fight overseas, we can kill them over there so they won't come here and we have to fight them on our own shores. And I'll be damned if we didn't allow under the Biden administration those motherfuckers to come over here and flourish in America. And I've been sharing on this podcast, and many other people have been sharing on their podcasts, the horrible Islamic problem we have here. And they're openly in their mosques, their imams are telling us what their plan is with Sharia law. And you convert to Islam or you die. Saying that in America. And what is the Republican-led Department of Justice and FBI doing about it? Have you seen a single one of those motherfuckers arrested yet? Islamists are trying to destroy the United States. And of course, I expect this show will be taken down tonight, just like the one last week did. So if you want to see it again, tell your friends and family if they didn't catch the show tonight live, they're going to have to go to my website to see it, or go over to YouTube, or go over to Facebook, or it's a matter of time before Facebook takes it down too. But fucking, I'm going to continue to tell the fucking truth. That's why I keep telling people, go to DouglasDucote.com, go to the website. Because YouTube is going to censor the fuck out of what I'm putting out tonight. Islamists are trying to destroy the United States. According to a 200-page, year-long report by the Institute of Study of Global Anti-Semitism and Policy, it says there is a 100-year plan by a militant Islamic organization with groups in more than 70 countries known as the Modern Brotherhood, which the U.S. does not list as a terrorist organization. And they plan to transform Western civilization, Western society, from within and destroy democracy. The report suggests they are halfway to their goal by infiltrating college campuses all across the world, to include America, setting up bot and troll accounts that divide Americans and destroy American institutions. Earlier this week, GOP Texas Governor Greg Abbott declared the Muslim Brotherhood and the Council on American Islamic Relations, known as CAIR, as a terrorist organization. Why is it our government doing the same fucking thing? And this is what's happening in Texas. It's got him so pissed off.
Mosques in Texas are funded, staffed, and controlled directly by the government of Turkey. The imams inside them are Turkish government employees. Their sermons are state approved. Western intelligence services have documented Turkey using identical institutions in other countries to surveil and intimidate political dissidents. That operation is running in Dallas, Houston, and Austin right now. Turkey's President Erdogan once described democracy as a train you ride until you reach your destination. And he has made clear that destination is an Islamist state. He has jailed journalists, purged judges, and directed his government's religious apparatus, the Diyanet, to operate globally. Now, 3 of those Diyanet mosques are in Texas. These aren't imams. They are foreign government operatives with a pulpit. Additionally, the Turkish Islamist network in Texas includes private schools and a functioning Sharia court in Dallas. Its founding figure has publicly called for the Islamization of America, declaring there's only one thing America needs, and that's Islam. This network has operated in close coordination with Muslim Brotherhood organizations in Dallas for years. In past videos, we've covered networks that are working to bring down American institutions from within. The Diyanet network doesn't need to infiltrate anything. It is a foreign government that has already placed state employees inside 3 Texas cities and is delivering state-approved theology from their pulpits today. Erdogan told you where the train is going, and right now we are the only thing stopping him from getting there. If you watch this series, you know the problem better than most Texans. Awareness is where the fight begins. Share these videos, like, and comment if the information matters to you, and follow along as we work to defeat Islamist radicalization.
Every night I do this podcast, I share more and more about the Islamic takeover of America and what their plan is. And now, as we found out last week, when I share that with you, just like when I shared the facts about the COVID and the facts about the vaccine, then now I've been proven it was true. It wasn't conspiracy theory. I wasn't fear mongering. I was telling you the truth. Don't fucking get this thing. I was censored and taken down. And now YouTube started doing this to me last week. Well, that's why it's important that you go to douglasducote.com, our website. That's why it's important that you follow me over on Rumble, X. We're live on X too. We now have a TikTok account, which is just funny shit, pretty much, not politics. Instagram, same way. Facebook. But for telling the truth and showing it to you, I don't just tell you about it, I show it to you. I've shared with you time and time again where people go into these mosques and pull out their cell phone and start videoing what the imams are saying to their people. And it's terrorist shit. And we're doing what about it? Nothing. It's just a matter of time. And trust me, as much as I'm ragging on Trump and the Republican Party right now, if Democrats win midterms, it is over for Donald Trump and this administration and the Republican spineless motherfuckers in Congress. They've made no bones about it. They've come out and they've said exactly what they plan to do. And then if they win back the presidency, say goodbye to America. And that's when the veterans of this country, those of us that fought in the Middle East and were told that if we go over there and fight them, we won't have to fight them here. And the oath we took to defend our country, our Constitution, against enemies, foreign and domestic, was it all a lie? Is this the bigger plan? That they want America to become a shithole? If you listen to the Democrat leadership, they're putting it out there. They're not trying to hide it. They're not America first. They're evil. You had many places you could be tonight. You chose to be here with me, and for that, I'm forever grateful. Thank you very, very much. Again, wherever you're watching us tonight, whether it's the YouTube channel, the Rumble channel, at X, at Facebook, like it, subscribe, share it with your family and friends, and go to the other sites. Whatever site you're watching on tonight, if you're watching us on Rumble tonight, go sign up on our YouTube. Go sign up on our Facebook. Go sign up on our X, on our Instagram, and our Twitter accounts. Like, subscribe, and share. And expect that before the night's over with, if not tomorrow, this show tonight, just like what happened last week, will be removed from YouTube for telling you the truth, for using my constitutional rights to tell you the truth of a life and death situation, just like I did with the vaccine. And YouTube is going to take it down. But you can see it on my website, douglasducote.com. I'll be back on Thursday. I hope you will join me. Until then, please say a prayer for our men and women serving the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders and their families, our angel families, our blue and gold star families in our country. May God bless the United States of America, and may God wake up these politicians of both political parties before it's too late. Thank you, America, and those that are watching from other countries that are looking at us going, wake up. Look what happened to us. Why are you letting it happen to you? Good night, my friends. say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.